Hello and welcome. We start off with security. In a major security breakthrough, the Department of State Services DSS has arrested Abubakar Abba, the alleged mastermind and leader of the dreaded Mahmuda terrorist group. Governor Mohammed Bago of Niger State confirmed the arrest in a statement released in Minna by his chief press secretary, Bologi Ibrahim. He disclosed that the DSS operatives apprehended Abba at Wawa town in Bogo local government area of the state without firing a single shot. The suspect has since been transferred to Abuja for further investigation. Now, the Mahmuda group, which is an offshoot of the deadly Boko Haram network with alleged ties to the Islamic State, has been linked to a string of violent attacks across Kwara and Niger states. Operating from forested hideouts straddling Niger, Nasarawa, Kwara, and Kogi states now, the militants have entrenched themselves in Bogo and nearby communities over recent months. Their activities have reportedly included illegal mining, forced labor, and the systemic extortion of herders and farmers, tightening their grip on vulnerable now rural populations. I'm now being joined on the program by Dr. Mike Ejiofor, who is a former director of the Department of State Services, to talk more on this. Thank you very much, Dr. Ejiofor, for joining us on the program. Let me start by asking you what you make of this arrest of the head of the Mahmuda terrorist group. That's Abubakar Abba himself. What impact do you expect this to have on the group?
Well, first of all, I must commend the State Security Service, which is the intelligence gathering organization, through which efforts this arrest has been made in conjunction with other security agencies. In issues like this, if there's no leadership, then the followers will scatter. So the impact of this is that since the leader has been arrested, there will not be any person to command the followers. So they will eventually scatter to other areas, and in the process, they will be arrested. So it's a major feat and a very big achievement on the part of the security agencies.
Now, this arrest was carried out without even a bullet fired. How significant is that?
That is the impact of intelligence gathering. Is the work of intelligence. Operations are now intelligence driven, and the intelligence agency is there to provide the lead and provide the necessary intelligence. And it's very painstaking effort on the part of the intelligence because it takes a lot of time, before such achievements are made. It's very, very encouraging, and I must commend the service for doing this. Although you see the problem of the leadership or the DG is that he wants to remain covert. He doesn't want to be seen operating openly. But there's no way he can continue to do that. Like all these ones, the governor must commend them. Other sources will also commend them. For him, as a person, as a leader, he doesn't want publicity on his activities.
And of course, I was actually going to ask you that. What do you make of this new system of the DSS, not wanting to put themselves out there in the media? For instance, with the current leadership of the DSS now, you don't have what we had before, like a spokesperson who gives regular briefings and all of that. It seems everything has now gone back to, well, what it used to be traditionally. That's covert.
Covert, yes. The fact remains that Nigerians will be out there to see the result of what is happening. You don't need to publicize what you are doing. But if we're able to achieve the necessary security, relative to enable people to perform that, then the credit goes to the president and commander-in-chief who is in charge of all these affairs. In our days, SSS have been very covert. In our areas, nobody talks about it. That's why when I retired 16 years ago, I decided to take it upon myself, not only to enlighten the people on the functions and responsibilities of the SSS, but also to let them know their responsibilities. The SSS, on its part, couldn't have achieved it without the cooperation of the people. So it calls for joint effort, both from the members of the society, our security forces. That jointness is very, very necessary to provide intelligence to the security agencies.
Now, I mean, it's good that the head of the Mahmuda group has been taken out. One other notorious terrorist leader that has been really disturbing, and recently, of course, there was a rumor that he was arrested and taken out, eventually turned out, of course, to be false. The military, of course, denying that that is not the case. I'm talking about Bello Turji, who, as you know, is a very notorious terrorist leader. I'm just wondering, could the same approach and method be used to track this notorious individual and bring him to face justice?
Yeah, be rest assured that our security agencies are working behind the scene, trying to, if you don't know what it took them to arrest this suspect, there's a lot that is put in the background. And I believe they're also working on other suspects, their leaders. But you see, at times, you see that some of the state governments are not helping issues. They go and negotiate with this, will pay their money without the knowledge of the security agencies. And how many people can you negotiate with? They don't have one leader. There are several and many other leaders that if you are negotiating with this will say, since they are negotiating with this group, they are not negotiating my group. They'll be carrying out other attacks because show that they are potent. So we must go all out to ensure that these people, they should be in a position to be begging, not we as a government or the people of Nigeria begging them.
So how important is it, or significant, if you like, that recently some members of the Bello Turji's terrorist group now have surrendered, because we actually understand they surrendered their arms and released some of the hostages with them. How significant is that? And do you think that might just be the beginning of the end of Bello Turji?
Well, I think it is very, very significant. Very significant indeed, because the pressure is now on them. And once they see that their leader is under pressure, they normally have their meetings too. Once they know that the heat is on their leader, some of them will begin to surrender. But how genuine are those people who are committed to surrendering? They are now not being sent as moles to go and monitor and see what they can do. You remember what happened in Borno State, that some people were released and they still went back into the same dangerous trade of killing people or even threatening people who are outside.
Finally, sir, I'm just wondering what you make of this Kaduna State government's approach, because somehow it appears to be working. Terrorist activities have actually gone down significantly in Kaduna State. Attacks have gone down. And could we say it's a clear sign that the approach adopted by the state government in terms of amnesty and talking to these terrorists to give up their activities, with some actually giving up their activities and surrendering, would you say that approach is working? Is it an approach that other state governments should perhaps emulate and adopt?
Well, it's working. It's working, but can it be sustained? That is the question. It's working, but the best practices all over the world is that you don't negotiate with the terrorists. And these are a group of people who have not identified and told people their aims and objectives or what they want. So what are you negotiating with? They are killing people, killing innocent people, raiding communities, raiding villages. I don't think it might work now, but the problem is that it might not likely be sustained.
Dr. Mike Ejiofor, former Director, Department of State Services, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, sir. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us, don't go away. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI 360, We give you a complete dose of everything: opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DG 360, dissecting the issues.